Hello and welcome to Yoga and Wellness with Amanda. I'm Amanda, and in today's practice we're going to be going through a slow flow, gentle practice for beginners. We are going to begin in child's pose, do some stretches on the mat. We'll get up into downward facing dog to stretch out the entire body, and then we'll make our way into extended side angle. If you have a set of yoga blocks, today is a great day to bust those out and incorporate those into our practice. If you have questions about using props in your everyday yoga flow, go ahead and check out my previous video where I discussed how to use props in our everyday practice. So with that being said, we'll grab our blocks, set up our yoga mat, and get started. All right, we have our mat and our yoga blocks ready, so let's get into position and get started. We're going to begin practice today in child's pose. So we're going to come down to the mat, and to enter child's pose, I want you to bring the big toes to touch and walk the knees out, almost mat width apart. We're going to sink back on the hips and then extend the arms forward as we begin to lower down to the mat. Wiggle the hips into position, allow the belly to relax, and bring the forehead to the mat. We're going to take a few breaths in this pose, so allow the body to get comfortable. We want to surrender the weight of the body to the mat and just take a few breaths to enter into practice with the beginner's mind. Give yourself permission to let go of all the to-do lists that you have floating around in your mind, and just allow yourself to fully dedicate this time to yourself, to your yoga practice, becoming aware of the breath, giving it permission to slow down and deepen, feeling the body expand with every inhale and release with every exhale. And then on the next inhalation, I want you to reach the fingertips all the way towards the top of the mat. Maybe even lift the palms off the mat. Feel the stretch down the arms, down the spine, into the hips. Deep breath in again, and let it out. And breathe in together. And on the exhale, go ahead and walk the fingertips towards the right side of the mat. You can even bring the left hand on top of the right wrist to create a gentle stretch in the side body. Breathing into the posture. Using the breath as a tool to create space in the physical body. And then on your next inhalation, begin to walk the hands in towards center. And then on the exhale, walk the hands to the left side of the mat. Again, this time we could bring the right hand on top of the left for a little more stretch in the side body. Breathing into the posture, using the breath as a tool to create space, expansion in the body. And then on the next inhalation, walk the hands back to center and let out the breath. Oh, fuck my foot. Oh, it's cramping. And when you're ready, go ahead and rise up into a tabletop position. Coming up onto all fours, we're going to align the body so the wrists, elbows, and shoulders are in line and the hips are over the knees. You can curl the toes, or you can uncurl the feet and allow the tops of the feet to rest on the mat. And we're going to flow through a couple rounds of cat and cow pose here. So on the inhale, drop the belly, gaze forward for cow pose. And on the exhale, allow the spine to arch, the head to hang for cat pose. Really press away from the earth here. Inhale back to cow. And exhale for cat. Inhale, cow. And exhale, cat. We'll do 2 more and use your breath to guide you. Maybe your inhales and exhales aren't the exact same speed as mine, and that's okay. I want you to use your breath as a guide to move the body. And I don't know if that was 1 or 2, so we'll do 1 more. Inhale to cow and exhale to cat. All right, now from our cat and cow, we are going to come right into our downward facing dog. So before we lift the hips, I want to make sure that we have our hands in proper position. So fingertips are spread nice and wide on the mat. Arms are about shoulder width apart. And when we curl the feet, we really want to make sure that when we lift up, our feet are also hip distance apart. So we're in nice alignment to support the body and keep it supported and protected. So on the inhale, we're going to curl the toes, lift the hips, and come into our downward facing dog. Again, wiggling the body into position, maybe pedal out the feet a little bit, let the head hang, and really press towards the back of the room with the calves. That's going to create a nice hamstring stretch and really allow the body to sink into the pose. Finding any minor adjustments and micro movements in this pose to allow yourself to feel comfortable. Knowing that we don't have to have the heels on the mat to be in this pose comfortably. Breathing into the physical body. And then on the next inhale, begin to bring the gaze between the hands, generously bend the knees, and begin to walk the body into a forward fold. We're going to inhale, halfway lift with a straight spine, and exhale, forward fold. And then go ahead and stay in your fold. For this next pose, we're going to grab our blocks. So we are going to take both of our blocks and place them beneath our feet. I'm just going to step back a little bit on my mat so we can have a good view here. So our blocks are going to be in line with our feet. Palms are going to be on the blocks, and this is going to support our halfway lift. See, with our blocks, we're able to create a nice straight spine without having to strain the body too much. So we're going to inhale here and exhale, forward fold. Allow the upper body to release. Maybe try and keep the legs a little bit straighter than you did before. Inhale, halfway lift, and exhale, fold. Awesome. We're going to inhale, halfway lift, and exhale, fold. 1 more. Inhale, halfway lift, exhale, folds. Wonderful. Now for this next stretch, we are going to do kind of an easy twist from our halfway lift. So we're going to only use 1 block, so you can set your second block maybe to the top of your mat or just off to the side for now. We're going to bring 1 single block in the center of our mat below our face. We're going to plant our right hand on the block, and on an inhale, we're going to bring that left arm up overhead as we bend the right knee. So our goal is to have a pretty straight line-ish from fingertip to fingertip. And depending on your flexibility, that may be straight, we may be a little out one way or another, but just know that that is our goal here. Reaching up to the sky, creating length in the body. Exhale, release, back to forward fold. And now we're gonna do that same stretch on the opposite side. So the left hand now is going to plant on the block. Inhale, reach that right arm up overhead, bend that left knee, really reach up to the sky through those fingertips. Breathe into the pose. And on an exhale, we're going to come back down into our forward fold. Inhale to a halfway lift. And exhale, fold. Awesome. Go ahead and set your second block back off to the top of your mat. And then on your next inhale, we're going to rise all the way up to extended mountain pose. Exhale, hands to heart. Awesome. I'm going to rotate towards the camera just so you guys can have a better look at me here. We're going to take a couple of breaths flowing with our arms here in mountain pose. Before we do though, I really want us to feel grounded in our mountain pose. So the feet are really rooted into the earth here. You can feel all four corners of the feet connected into the mat. Bend the knees slightly if you need to. And then on the next inhale, we're going to reach the arms up overhead. And exhale, hands to heart. Two more like this. Inhale, circle, sweep the arms up. And exhale, hands to heart. One more. Inhale, reach up towards the sky. Exhale, hands to heart. Awesome. Now, the next pose we are going to get into is extended side angle. And the way we're going to do that is we're going to head into our downward dog, step forward into a lunge, and then make our way into extended side angle. So I'm going to turn back to face the top of my mat. Inhale, bring the arms up to the sky. Exhale, forward folds. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back. Exhale, fold. Plant the hands on the mat, step back, downward facing dog. From here, we're going to inhale that right leg back. And as we exhale, pull it through in between the hands to find a low lunge. We're going to keep our back leg lifted, but go ahead and grab onto your blocks. This is going to help support us and keep integrity in our pose. We're going to rotate our back foot, our left foot, so our heel comes down to the mat. The toes are facing towards the front of the room. We're going to inhale, cartwheel the arms up to warrior two. So here we're going to make sure we have a 90-degree bend in our front leg, kind of sink the pelvis in between the legs here, lightening out through the fingertips. We're going to relax the arms though, because we got up into the pose and that was our goal. Our legs are now set up for extended side angle. We're going to bend the right arm, release that elbow to that front leg, and then inhale, circle, sweep that left arm up and overhead. Really rotate the heart space open and reach out through the fingertips. Now, if this is comfortable, you could stay here, or if you want to fully express the pose, we can grab our block, place it in front of our right foot, bring the palm to the block, inhale, circle, sweep our left arm up and reach up towards the sky. Our full expression of our extended side angle. And we want to feel light and lifted. We don't want to dump too much weight into this bottom hand. It's merely here to support the body. Breathe into the pose. Gaze can be up or forward or down, whatever is comfortable on the neck. Awesome job. All right. And we are going to take a big breath in here. And on the exhale, we're going to cartwheel the hand down to the mat, remove our block, rotate that back foot, and we are going to, oh, wrong way, just kidding. We're going to come into a wide-legged forward fold. So actually, we're going to rotate our right foot towards the front of the room as we walk the hands to center. Release into our fold. And here's another great opportunity to use our block if we want to have a little bit more support. Breathing into the fold, allowing the head to hang, adjusting the stance as needed. You can bring the feet wider or closer together, depending on the flexibility in your body in this moment. On the next inhale, we're going to rise to a halfway lift. And exhale, forward fold. One more. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, forward fold. From our fold, we're going to make our way into extended side angle on the opposite side. So instead of going into downward dog first, we're just going to take our block, bring it to the left side of our mat, and then we're going to slowly walk the hands towards the left side, rotating our left foot so it's facing the left side of the room. Our right foot is going to stay as it is. Again, we can use our block here. Now on the left side of our foot for support, easy for me to say. Inhale, rotate up, rise into warrior two. Extending those arms out, creating a nice right angle bend in our left leg now. Awesome. We're gonna relax our arms, take a breath. And then we're gonna come into our extended side angle. This time bend the left elbow and rest that on the left thigh. Inhale, circle sweep that right arm overhead and reach towards the right side of the room. Left palm faces up. We can stay here, or if we want to go into the full expression of the pose, we can bring our block to the inside of the left foot, bring our left hand to the top of that block. Inhale, circle sweep that right arm up and reach towards the sky, making sure we're leaning open with the chest, we're not crunching down on the body, reaching up through those fingertips. Breathing into the pose. Feeling light and lifted, not dumping too much weight into our lower hand. And then on the next exhale, we're gonna circle sweep that right hand back to the mat, remove our block, rotate. Just kidding, I did it again. We're gonna rotate back into our wide leg forward fold. So walk the hands to center, rotate the feet so they're both facing the front of the room. You can bring our block if we need that extra support for our halfway lift. Inhale and exhale, fold. And maybe we're gonna take ragdoll arms here for a few breaths. So bringing opposite hand to opposite elbow, allowing the head to hang and maybe just creating a little bit of movement in the body here. Breathing into the fold. Adjusting the stance as needed. You can walk the feet in closer or farther apart if you need, just depending on how your body feels today. And then we're going to release the hands back to the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, forward fold. On the next inhale, we're going to rise all the way up to standing and come into star pose. Big breath in. Exhale, drop into goddess. Goalpost the arms, bend the knees, really sink into the hips. Inhale, star pose. Exhale, sink into goddess. Inhale, star. Exhale, goddess. Awesome. We'll bring the hands to heart center. We'll come up to standing, heel toe the feet together and come into our mountain pose. Big breath in, reach towards the sky. Exhale, forward folds. I'm gonna come back to the top of our mat here. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, folds. We're gonna plant the hands, walk the feet back, downward facing dog. Let out the breath. Maybe pedal out the feet here. And find stillness for a breath or two. And then when you're ready, slowly begin to bend the knees and lower down to the mat. We are going to come into child's pose for just a few breaths here. So bring the big toes to touch, sink the hips back, and then begin to walk the hands forward and finally releasing the forehead to the mat. Taking 3 to 5 breaths here, just in silence, acknowledging the stretch that we've created in the body, and just noticing how we're feeling physically, mentally, emotionally, energetically. And then after those 3 to 5 breaths, at your own pace, when you feel ready, begin to press the body back up into a tabletop position and make your way into a comfortable seated pose. You can come into Sukhasana or a fire log pose where we're creating a line with our shins. And just taking a few moments here, settle in and invite gratitude into the body. Acknowledge that you gave yourself space on your mat to stretch and experience some yoga poses maybe that you've never tried before, or just simply gave yourself time to check into some self-care routines. If you'd like to close out practice with me, you'll bring hands to heart center, take a breath. Thumb knuckles come to forehead. The beautiful, abundant, brightly shining light in me sees, honors, and respects that same light in each and every one of you. Namaste. And we did it! We made it through another yoga flow together. Thank you so much for joining me throughout practice. I hope you learned something about your body or something new about your yoga practice today. If you have any questions about anything we did in this video or have any suggestions for future videos, I would love to hear from you in the comments section below. If you liked this video, don't forget to hit that thumbs up. If you really liked this video, please consider subscribing so then you could stay on top of all the videos I post each week. Until then, I hope you have a beautiful day and I can't wait to see you in the next video.